Hey guys, bachphotography here, and today we're going to be looking at 5 ways that you can improve your couple photography for portraits. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel, as I'll be releasing a lot more content like this in the future, and also hit that notification bell as well so you don't miss out on any of my videos coming up soon. I'm also going to be leaving a link to the raw files in the description of this video for the photos in this video, so if you're interested in having an edit of these photos, then feel free. And also thank you to everyone who's been editing these photos and then linking me to them on Instagram. I really do enjoy taking a look at those. I'm also going to be leaving in the description a link to all the equipment I used in this video, so check that out as well if you're interested in getting some new equipment. So without further ado, let's have a look at some of the ways that you can improve your couple photography. So the first thing you're going to want to do, and this is particularly true for couples that haven't had much experience in front of a camera, is just get them to relax as much as possible and as much as you can before you start taking photos. And there's a few ways to do this. One way that I think is really effective is just to ask them to sort of shake off, do a bit of a wiggle and relax all of their muscles and just go blah, 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 you know, just really shake off and get ready to be a bit silly for the photo shoot. You know, it's not super serious and you want them to feel as relaxed as possible and to have as much fun as possible as well. And for couples that have never experienced a photo shoot before, it can actually be quite nerve-wracking to be in front of the camera, particularly if you're self-conscious about how you're going to look. You know, you want to look as best as you can, and you might be worried that you're going to look silly in your photos, or you're not going to look good, or whatever the reason is. So just giving them a few minutes to calm down from the pre-shoot jitters and from the anxiety that comes along with getting your photo taken. Once that's sort of subsided and they start having a bit of fun with the photos, you're going to get much better portraits, and they're going to look more natural, and they're just going to look better in the photos. And one way that you can get your couple to relax is just to get them to joke around with each other, maybe get them to do some silly things like tickle each other or rub their noses together, that sort of thing, just to subside from any anxiety and let them know that the photo shoot is really not a place to be serious and a place to be nervous, but a place to have fun and relax and get creative. So the second piece of advice I'd like to give is give the couples lots of posing guidance while you're taking their photos. And this again is particularly the case for couples that haven't had that much experience in front of the camera. So there's an amazing Facebook group that I'd like to link in the description below, and it's called Promptography, and essentially it is a Facebook group that is just dedicated for photographers giving each other posing advice and prompts that they can give to their couples for particular poses and to make them relaxed and to get great photos. And the prompts can be as serious or as silly as you want. It depends what look you are looking for in your photos. If the couple are looking a little bit rigid and a little bit stiff and nervous, maybe try something a little silly. Like, for example, one of my personal favorites is, in your sexiest voice, tell her what you had for breakfast. And normally this incites a bit of laughter, a bit of giggling, they both smile at each other, and this can be a really nice photo. And this photo here actually was taken using this particular prompt, and then I'll show you another photo. This one here, this was using the prompt, kiss each other while smiling and only use your teeth. And as you can see, both of these quotes and prompts are quite ridiculous, but because they're a little bit silly, they do invoke laughter and smiling and make the photo look really nice and warm and happy. So I will leave a link in the description to a whole bunch of different prompts that I really like to use, and then also I'll leave in the description a link to that Facebook group. It's a really fantastic group. I'm not actually affiliated with them in any way, I just think they're a really fantastic resource for people who are doing portraits, and particularly coupley portraits and wedding portraits. And if you have any special prompts that you like to use a lot that you think people would benefit from in the comment section, please do leave a comment in this video. I'd love to see all of the different prompts that everyone else is using so that I can add some to my repertoire as well. So tip number 3 on taking better couple photos kind of comes off of tip number 2. It's sort of a similar sort of theme. So obviously the second one was give lots of prompts and posing guidance. The third one is going to be make sure that the posing guidance that you're giving to your couples makes sense for the couple that you're shooting. And what I mean by that is, for example, let's say that the couple were both larger people. You wouldn't want to ask the groom to pick up the bride and spin her around, because potentially he might not have the strength to do something like that, or it just might not work very well. Conversely, if the couple are very small, let's say that the groom is smaller than the bride, you might not want to do any shots where the bride is higher up than the groom, just because that would make a difference in sizing that might not be aesthetically pleasing to them. So if the bride is taller than the groom, often what I like to do is find an area that's slightly sloped just to make the groom a little bit taller, because often that can make the photo just look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. And there are other things you can do that will help improve the look of your couple depending on the features that they have on their face. For example, let's say that you have a groom that's skin isn't particularly good. You might want to take a few extra photos just a bit further back so that the skin is not quite as accentuated in the photos, or potentially you could shoot at a lower aperture just to smooth out the skin a little bit more in the photos. Another thing you can do with a couple that are on the larger side is you can shoot them from an angle that is higher than you would normally do for a smaller couple, and the reason that you do that, particularly with wide angle lenses, is it makes the features that are lower down look smaller, which makes their body look smaller, and it also reduces the chance of there being any double chins and things like that in the photos. So one mistake you see a lot with people that are just getting started in portrait photography, and particularly when photographing couples, is they get both the couples to look at the camera when they're taking the photos. But what I've found is some of the best photos that I think I've ever taken have been candid, where the couple are looking at each other rather than at the camera, because it's a much more intimate setting than the photo showing that the couple are looking at a third party. Now my fourth tip is to get nice and close when you're taking these photos, particularly when you're taking photos like headshots of the couple when they're kissing and looking into each other's eyes and things like that. Now I like to shoot these sorts of portraits, coupley photos, at 35mm and at 50mm, and that's because I can get nice and close, still show a bit of the background, but basically just so I can get nice and close to them without warping any of their features. When you're shooting at, let's say, 70mm or higher than that, like a long range with a telephoto lens, there's something that it takes away from the photos, because essentially you can tell that you're really far away when you're taking the shot. You don't feel like you're part of the image. When you're shooting at, let's say, 50mm, or my favorite focal length for these sorts of photos, which is 35mm, you really feel like you're part of the action when you're looking at the photos, because you're really nice and up close. You don't want to shoot, in my opinion, much wider than 35mm, particularly when you're close up to your subjects, because you start seeing some warpage in the photo from having such a wide element at the front of your lens. So when you're shooting at 35, even then you can see some warpage when you're really nice and close to your couple, but shooting at 24 or 30 really is a little bit too wide. So getting up close to the couple that you're with is really important. And also I think that when you're really nice and close to your subjects in the frame, and they're really just filling up the frame completely, you see subconsciously body language that you would miss if they were further away in the frame. So I think that really adds as well to the emotions that you get from an image. When you're really nice and close, you can really see all the body language that the two people are displaying towards each other. So before I give you my fifth and final tip, I'm just going to add in a bonus tip into this video, and that is that if you want to shoot in a beautiful light setting, which you should always want to do because that makes amazing photos, shooting at golden hour is always a surefire way to get some beautiful warm photos that everyone is going to love. And particularly when the weather permits, so it's not too cloudy in the sky, you're going to get some beautiful warm light and yellow tones, warm tones, and those are going to be awesome for coupley photos, because the warmth and the beautiful golden light makes the photos look more intimate, more romantic, and just better aesthetically. So finally, my fifth tip for taking better couple photos and couple portraits is don't be scared of doing some action shots and spraying your camera, taking lots of photos to get that one shot. So for example, if we go back to the example I gave earlier about picking up the groom picking up the bride and spinning her around, this is quite a difficult shot to capture, and if you're going to take a photo like this, it really is best just to set your camera onto continuous burst mode and take 30 or 40 photos as the groom spins the bride around, just to get that one photo. These sorts of photos are best taken at the end of the session when your couple are nice and relaxed and you've gotten all the photos that you wanted to take, so you've got a nice portfolio of photos to show them after the photo shoot, and now you just have a little bit of time to have a bit of fun and try to do a few creative shots that might not turn out so well. So the groom picking up the bride and spinning her around, that is an example of a shot that you might not actually able to get done in the 5 minutes that you try to get that particular photo, but because you already have all the photos you need for this photo shoot, you can now up the risk a little bit and try to take some amazing photos at the end of your session. So picking up and spinning, that's a really good one. Getting both of them to tickle each other and where they're moving around quite a lot, that's another good action shot. Those sorts of things are really good and are often the wow photos that you get in your photo shoot that the couple are particularly happy about. So thank you very much for watching and listening to this video. If you got this far and you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. And As I said before, there will be a link to all the equipment I used in this photo shoot and also some of the raw files so you can have a play with them. Feel free to send them to me for me to have a look at. I do enjoy seeing all of the edits that you guys do on my photos. And that's it for this one. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.